Today I want to explain about the altars. I have explained about priesthood. And I said the kind of priesthood that you align to determines who you become. There are those who are everlasting and those who are temporary. And there are those who die and those who live. So it depends on what kind of priesthood you are aligned with. You can follow the last service and even the last two services. I've used them to speak about priesthood. And even the YouTube page, Apostle Domiziano Mwenda, you can get about the priesthood. There are some, already we have been able to upload useful information or information for you there. You can get it, download it, use it to build your faith. So priesthood is very important. I said the three are connected, and I will keep on referring to the three of them. So today I want to explain something about the altar so that we continue. In the book of Judges chapter 6, from verse 22, I would like you to read it, the whole of it, at your free time. But for now, for the purposes of this service, we start from verse 22. Verse 22 says, now Gideon perceived that he was the angel of the Lord. So Gideon said, alas, O Lord God, for I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. Then the Lord said to him, peace be with you. Do not fear, you shall not die. Do not fear, you shall not die. Before they believe when you see God or the angel of God, you will die, you will not live. So Gideon built an altar there to the Lord and called it, the Lord is peace. That's Jehovah Shalom. This day it is still in offer of Abiezrites. It is still there. Now it came to pass that that night, the same night, it came to pass the same night that the Lord said to him, take your father's young bull, the second bull of the 7 years old, and tear down the altar of Baal that your father has, and cut down the wooden image that is beside it, and build an altar to the Lord your God on top of this rock in the proper arrangement, and take the second bull and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the image which you shall cut down. We can stop there and wait. So, as I have promised, I am talking about the altar in this subject of priesthood, altars, and covenant. So an altar, and I want you to understand, in worship, when you are a worshiper, you will come to realize relationship between priesthood, altars, and covenant. And they are interrelated. They are connected to each other. So you need to understand that they are connected. You cannot separate the three of them. So, an altar, when we are describing it in a language that you may understand, is a place of sacrifice. So we say an altar is the place of sacrifice. Is a place of sacrifice. A place where sacrifice is offered. So when you have a place of sacrifice where you go and sacrifice, we say that is an altar. Sometimes the Pharisees or the teachers of the law, they never understood the power of the altar. And that's why Jesus was arguing with them concerning regulations in the temple. And he was telling them what makes those things that is stepped into the altar holy is the altar. And they were valuing those things that come there more than the altar itself. We began by understanding from the priesthood, Moses was faithful unto the house. In Hebrews chapter 3, he was faithful to the whole house. And we are told that the builder of the house is more important or is more valid than the house itself. So the builder of the house is more esteemed than the house itself. So when you have a place of sacrifice, a place where you can lay your sacrifice, so we understand that sacrifices are not meant, those sacrifices belonging to God, they were not meant to be laid anywhere. That is why he's saying, to the place where I will attach my name. So in the altar of God, his name is attached. In a place where I will attach my name, you shall bring your tithes, you shall bring your sacrifices, you shall bring your offerings in a place that I have chosen, and I have attached my name. So when the altar is built and God attaches his name, that is now where it qualifies to be a place of sacrifice. It is a place of sacrifice because God has offered to attach his name in that altar. So that is why when we build sanctuaries for God and build altars for God, we dedicate them to God. We give him. The dedication is a way that of telling God, take over and be the manager and be the controller of what happens in this altar or in this house. So, as a place of sacrifice is an altar. A place where God has attached his name. So if the place God has not attached his name is not qualified to be his altar. Number 3, we can say that our altar is a place of contact with the spiritual world. It's a physical place that brings you into contact with the spiritual world. So it is a place of sacrifice. It is a place where God has attached his name. It is a place of contact in the spiritual world. So it's a place where there is connection. That is why when Jacob in Genesis 28 was running away from Esau and came into the place of Bethel, where Abraham built an altar for God, he laid there that night. Then he saw the connection between heaven and earth. And he saw the land that was connecting heaven and earth. And there he saw angels ascending and descending. So that is an altar, a place of contact with the spiritual world. So when you are in connection with the altar, you are able to see connection between heaven and earth. So there are some places it's connected direct. There is a network between them and the heaven. Because there is a contact place, a place of contact. The earth is there. The heaven is connected unto the earth. When Jacob showed the revelation, he said, this is a gateway to heaven. So we can also say the altar is a gateway to heaven. Connect you to the direct way. It says, it shall be the house of God. So he realized that this is where the house of God, and the most important in the house of God thing is the altar. That is the most important place in the house of God, the altar. The altar is the most important. The most important thing in you as a worshiper is the altar of God inside you, where God has established. I want you to understand also the altar is also a place of invocations. It is a place of invocations. We say it's a gateway to heaven. So you're connected to heaven. That's why Jacob saw heaven and hand God, gateway. It is a place of invocations. That is where the spiritual power of supernatural is invoked. So some powers are invoked. Whether it's a demonic altar, demons are invoked to come and reign. They are invoked. They are called from the spiritual into the physical to manifest. So the altar is a place of invocations. So we invoke the presence of the Lord. The power of the Lord comes. Begin to work for people. Begin to work for individuals. We invoke through the altar. Another thing about the altar is a place of covenant activation. Altars serve to activate covenants. So you see now connection. It's a place of covenant activation. You cannot have a covenant without an altar. And the altar serves the existing covenant. So if the covenant is existing, it's served by a certain altar. And when you want to make a covenant, there must be an altar. So it serves the existing covenant. It's a place of covenant activation. So when there is no active altar, no living covenant, where there is no active altar, no living covenant. And when the covenant is there, it will be dormant. It will be dormant. And when it is dormant, it will not serve its purpose. So, there must be an altar of prayer, an altar of sacrifice, and an altar of praise for the covenant to be active. So once you fail to establish an altar of prayer, an altar of praise, an altar of sacrifice, then the covenant remains dormant. You may have a covenant, but it will not help you. It will not serve. A dormant covenant does not serve. It will not. It's like a dormant account. You cannot withdraw money from that. So where the covenant is dormant, divine help is blocked and denied. I say where the covenant is dormant, divine help is denied. unblocked. So you call, you pray, help is not coming. The heaven above you is closed. That's what we mean now. When the heaven is closed, it means the covenant is not working. When you violate the covenant, God closes the heavens. There is no communication between man and God. Before I come to explain that in details, I want you to know that the altar being the place of invocation, it is the altar that controls the behavior of people. The altar controls the behavior. The altar controls the behavior. If you want to know the kind of an altar that is established in a certain area, you have to look at the behavior of those people. It's the easy way to know that. There is an altar that makes people become drunkards. There is an altar that makes people become immoral, sexually immoral. There is an altar that makes people poor. So when you begin to see those habits, it is easy for you to know about the altars if you are able to read the patterns of the people's life. So some altars are obvious. You can easily discover them. Now, for you to be made influenced or to be influenced by the forces of darkness, the forces of darkness to reign over you and to have direct influence over your life, there must be an invocation place to invoke the help of the spirits, from the help from the spirits of darkness, so that you can be aligned with what the demons or the forces want.